Hi everyone, welcome back to Hope and Coffee. I'm Hope and this is my coffee, and today we're actually going to talk about something that may be a little difficult sometimes. And this one is about forgiveness. This is about how we can forgive and why it can be an art to forgiveness. Why it benefits us not only to forgive other people, but what it means not to hang on to that anymore. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I've kind of come to the point in my life where I don't want to hold grudges anymore. I want to be able to let the people who hurt me, I want to let it go. And I want to be able to move on without kind of carrying that around I don't want to carry that around anymore. But it's beneficial. It's beneficial to be able to let those things go and move on from it. And I'm not saying I'm letting the individuals back in my life. I'm not saying that I'm going to open my doors and allow them to, come back in and do whatever things that they were doing again. No. Forgiveness means different things to different people, but in general, it involves an intentional decision to let go of the resentment and anger. And that's what I'm choosing to do. And the act that hurt or offended me might always be with me. And that's okay, because something happened and I accept it. I accept that they did something that I wasn't really happy with, that when I tried to talk to them about it, that they didn't seem to acknowledge that they were in the wrong, maybe. But it can help free me from that control that I felt tied to. I don't know. Maybe I felt like I was owed an apology, or maybe I felt as though there wasn't any closure because I felt as though I thought I needed something from them, I needed them to say I'm sorry. Well, that's just it. I don't think I do anymore. And that's okay. You know what? That's okay. But we're going to go through this. And I actually found an article from the Mayo Clinic, and I thought that was a pretty good source to be able to utilize. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting or excusing the harm done. It does not necessarily mean making up with the person who caused the harm, but it does bring a kind of peace that allows you to focus on yourself and helps you to move on with your life. And that's exactly what I want to do and where I want to go with the rest of this year. And it's part of my 90-day journey of being able to let go. And so what are the benefits that you gain when you forgive someone? Well, letting go of bitterness and grudges can improve health and peace of mind. It can lead to, one, healthier relationships. Not with that person, perhaps, but maybe with other people. It can improve your mental health. It can lessen anxiety, stress, and hostility. It can help you exhibit fewer symptoms of depression, lowering blood pressure. It can help foster a stronger immune system. It can improve heart health, and it can help with self-esteem. So all of that came from the Mayo Clinic. Again, I am not a doctor. I am not an expert, and you are welcome to look this up if you would like. But why is it so easy to hold a grudge? Well, being hurt by someone, particularly someone you maybe have loved or loved in the past or trusted, can cause anger, sadness, and confusion. So if you dwell on the hurt or the events that caused the situation or led up to the situation, sometimes you're filled with a resentment and hostility. So if you allow that negative feeling to crowd out the positive feelings that you had felt, you may find yourself swallowed up by the bitterness or a sense of injustice. And that comes from their article. And some people are naturally more forgiving than others. But even if you tend to hold a grudge, almost anyone can learn to be more forgiving. So what are the effects of holding a grudge? Well, a lot of them are going to be quite the opposite of letting it go. But you can bring anger and bitterness into new relationships and to new experiences. You can become so wrapped up in the wrongs that you can't enjoy the present. You can become depressed and irritable or anxious. You can feel at odds with yourself or your other beliefs. And you can lose valuable and enriching connections with other people. So those are some things you can lose if you allow yourself to continue to hold this grudge. And so that's one of the things that I don't want to continue doing anymore. I don't want to continue holding grudges anymore. I don't need those levels of forgiveness anymore, and I don't need the levels of apology anymore. I don't need closure anymore. I am able to now say, you know what, it happened. And I'm able to not only forgive myself, but kind of forgive that person, whether I'm ever able to say it to them or not. And I'm able to move on. And I feel really good about that. But forgiveness is a commitment to change as well. And it takes practice, because there are going to be moments where you kind of think back and it kind of grips you again, because maybe you feel like you really didn't deserve it. You didn't deserve to be treated that way. And that is fair. A lot of us don't deserve to be treated the way we get treated. But we can recognize the value in forgiveness and how it can improve our lives, and identify what needs healing so we can continue to forgive. What part of us is still holding the grudge? If anything, you're also able to talk to counselors or a support group if you need. And you can acknowledge your emotions about the harm done to you. It's okay to acknowledge it. Say, you know what? You did this and it hurt me. Or talk to another friend. If they are open to having that conversation with you, sit down with them and say, hey, I really need someone to talk to right now. Are you open to letting me talk to you? It's really good to ask permission sometimes before trauma dumping. So try to get that permission before you just kind of spill it. And what happens if you don't? What happens if you don't forgive? Well, it can be hard. And the person who hurt you may not admit to their wrongdoing. And again, it happens. It happens all the time. People will often go through life not admitting their fault in a lot of different things. And we can't control their actions. We simply cannot control the actions of other people. We can only control ourselves. So we have to practice empathy, trying to see the situation from the other person's perspective. And we don't know why they can't see their wrongdoing, but maybe we just try to understand. We can ask ourselves about the circumstances that have led up to this other person behaving in this certain way. We can reflect on the times when other people have had to forgive us for whatever we've done to them. And I'm certain that there have been times when people have had to forgive me for things. And so I try to say, you know what, I can forgive others if others have had to forgive me. And we can journal or whatever use of meditation that you may need or utilize in your day-to-day life. And be aware that it's a process. Forgiveness is a process and that it will take time. And again, there are steps of moving through it. But I just wanted to talk about it because I have recently reconciled with a friend that I wasn't sure that I was going to. But one of the biggest steps was forgiveness. And once I was able to understand their perspective on some things and we were able to have a conversation, it was very enlightening, and I was very happy that we were able to have that conversation, a very open, amicable conversation. And I think the friendship can be saved, and I'm very glad for that because they were a person that I valued. And I didn't realize at the time the things they were going through when our friendship kind of broke. So, it took a couple months to kind of find a place where we could have a conversation, but I'm so glad that we did. And I think sometimes it takes forgiveness. So I hope that you're able to extend that to some of the people that you love or have loved. And if you find that you have some resentment still and you have some forgiveness to kind of hand out, I hope you're able to do that. But if you've made it this far, please like, subscribe, and share. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you on the next page. Have a great one.